Welcome back to the Game Junkies podcast, a place which brings you all the latest gaming news, releases, and content. I'm your host Chris, and I am joined with my co-host Jack.
Good afternoon, everyone.
How's it going, Jack? How's
not
your week
too
been?
shabby. A classic
The
question
classic
to
one.
bring back into the podcast.
Back into the podcast.
Well, as per usual, it's full up with so many activities.
Yeah.
As per usual. I'm not going to go into detail because do you really need to know what I'm doing specifically?
Not
I
really.
can just tell you I'm busy.
I don't care. Do people
You can
listening
assume I'm
care?
busy.
No.
You know I'm busy. I'm always busy. I don't need to go into the details.
Yeah, I don't think anybody cares. So I think
Exactly.
you just need. I regret asking it now. If I'm honest with you, I feel like it's
Thanks.
a whole thing.
I'm not that boring, am I?
So, I'm going to go back to I sort of guess the question of the week is more, what is your favourite racing game that you can remember from any time? It could be a game you played yesterday, it could be a game you played back on the PlayStation 2, your favourite racing game. And this includes kart games, so Mario Kart,
Sure.
Crash Kart.
They're all racing games. Yeah, they're all racing games.
Your favourite?
Yeah, oh yeah, my favourite one, I think. It's a tie between.
I didn't expect this to be this
I know,
hard.
it's so
expected it to be
complicated.
this easy.
It's so complicated. It's between Mario Kart on the Nintendo DS, so classic Mario Kart, or Crash Team Racing on like PS1
Crash
or PS2,
Team
whatever
Racing
it
was
was.
awesome. Like,
Was
Crash
it
Team Racing
PlayStation
was
1
awesome.
or PlayStation 2?
I think it was PlayStation 2. I can't remember actually.
There was two versions. Oh yeah, Crash Tag Team Racing. That was the one.
That was
on
great.
PlayStation 2. That was a classic game. I
That's
loved that. I
good.
played it to death.
Good choice. Good choice.
What about you?
Um,
Thank you.
I like Forza Horizon, like the OG one, because it's just
The OG.
yeah.
Not for like Forza Horizon 1.
Forza Horizon 1 purely because it was just the game I remember playing, and I was like, this opened like a whole other world for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's the first game.
But
that,
I'm not going to say it's my favourite.
same
It's up there.
franchise.
But my favourite
okay.
was Need for Speed Underground 2. That game,
Underground 2.
the Riders of the Storm song, as that was playing, as I put the disc in, and
I mean,
that was
are you just a fan of the song?
I mean, I love the
or-
game. The game is incredible. I remember when I was in school that I had it on like a USB. Like I had the game on a USB.
You what?
And when it was like a
You sound like a hacker.
yeah. So when it was like a free lesson, or even when it was a lesson, I was just bored. Don't do this at home, kids. Don't listen. Pay attention.
Sorry,
in school.
are you
Pay
saying you
attention in
played?
school.
Are you saying you played games doing your lessons?
Yes, I did
Chris?
sometimes.
What is wrong with you?
And it just shows that I am actually a game junkie because I need to get my fix of
See,
games.
you got on there early. I mean, is this encouraging? Are you encouraging
Well,
others to
a
do this,
disclaimer before this is libelous. We just want to say go to school. I mean, be safe.
Go to
'cause of
school,
COVID.
get your education.
Get your education.
You have so much downtime after
Yeah.
school. I mean, you finish at like
Yeah.
3:00. You
Yeah.
have plenty
But
of
there's
time
something
to
about
play your games.
playing games in school that just felt awesome. I don't know what it was.
The only
It just
games I
felt-
played in school was like cool math games or whatever.
Yeah. Well,
When you do like a math lesson on your computer, then you're allowed to. If you have like a spare 10 minutes, you can just do some cool math games. That's all I
Anyway,
remember.
do you want to segue us into our first segment?
The news.
Nice. Well, actually, I was going to read the first one, but do you want to go ahead and read the first? And I feel like it's more, since you're more of an Xbox guy than me.
Well,
I feel
catered
like,
towards me.
Yeah, I feel like you want to talk about this, and we.
Well, this refers to. I mean, everyone's talking about it. It refers to the Xbox Series X having huge issues since its launch. Some I didn't really expect. Some I wasn't. Some I was very surprised with. We have three essentially bullet points highlighting the key issues.
Before you sort of go into them, I mean, the thing is with issues with launch. I mean, any launch, you can expect glitches and bugs. It's
Sure.
a launch, but
Sure, yeah.
I don't know. I
of
think
course.
these are
It's not gonna
maybe
be flawless.
I think these are maybe too much.
Exactly, yeah. Okay, so let me just read them out. So, there are three highlights,
Big
as
ones.
it were.
Yeah.
So the first one is reports of it making a ridiculous noise when loading a disc. The second one is reports of people being unable to put the disc in.
Well, that's a bit of an issue. If you
a
can't
bit of
put
an
the
issue.
disc in.
Interesting, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The third one, reports of the console turning off when the game has been
God.
loaded.
So I'm guessing. So you've seen these videos, right? That are circulating
Yes.
online with people, the noise it's making. Like,
There were a surprisingly amount of
like,
videos.
My current PlayStation or Xbox doesn't make that noise.
No.
You don't expect that.
The only time my Xbox makes noise now is when I think it's when you're playing like a 360, like an
Stressful
older game.
Oh, is it really?
No, not even a stressful game. Like, so, for example, the other day I was loading like a 360 game from the Game Pass, and that's the only time it's made this huge like airplane landing noise. You know, like the famous noise that all the consoles make when you're playing a really stressful game. For some reason, it's mine with backwards compatibility games, which is really annoying.
But like,
I mean, that's the only time I encounter noise.
I mean, the PlayStation's known for being noisy. I mean, mine personally isn't
Sure.
really that bad, but I know a lot of people who say theirs are. I mean,
Yeah,
the thing is,
you
though,
hear the stories, don't you?
with this issue, I could move past it. Obviously, I don't want my next gen console to be sounding like a jet engine, but I could go, okay,
You can
move
live with it,
past
can't you?
The other two, can anyone move past that? I mean,
Inexcusable.
the fact you can't put a disc in, you've seen these videos, right? They basically try to put the disc in and they just won't go in, right?
It's like there's already a disc in there,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's like there's a disc in there, they try to eject, can't do it, right? And this is a big issue. People can't play the game.
You may as well just get an Xbox Series S
Yeah.
if you can't play any games.
Like, I know it's obviously, you kind of expect a one-off, you know, if you saw one video of it and, you know, they had a faulty disc drive.
It's
you'd
like
be
fine.
Yeah, you'd be like, okay,
it's a
that
fully described
happens, you
one.
know, it happens.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's a good few videos of this happening, right?
It's more than I expected,
Yeah.
and it's so
But
disappointing
to top it all off,
and annoying.
If you do eventually get your disc into the drive, 10 seconds after loading the game,
Your
your
console might
console
turn
goes
off.
off. I mean, Xbox hasn't, you know, discussed this yet. They haven't.
It's like
explained what's
Xbox is
going on.
encouraging you not to play a game.
Yeah, I don't know what happened here. I don't know. I feel like they should have tested this out.
I mean, thing is, Chris and I have been talking about this throughout the week, and we've come to the decision that they've clearly
Rushed
there's no
I don't know.
evidence here. This is just our theory, our opinion. Don't take it as fact, even though even though our opinion is highly rated because we are the official Game Junkies.
Yeah.
But there's no evidence
Very highly
towards this. Exactly, but we feel that they've clearly
Just rushed it. a little bit.
rushed it.
And
You know, it was quite obvious.
you know,
In comparison to the PlayStation release,
it's just a bit of a shame. If that's the case, I mean, these could just be one-off problems, and because they've sold probably millions of consoles. If it was only like 10 that've done it, fair enough. But even so, they should have caught this in the testing and been like, okay, this is a problem. Even if it's only one-off, we need to sort this out because somebody's going to have a problem with this. They're going to.
if you can't put your disc in to a next-gen console in 2020, you have failed.
Yeah, I mean, disc drive
I'm very-
is pretty. I mean, how long
Quite
have disc
important.
drives been around? I mean, surely they could
Since
have.
the OG days, since
how have
Xbox
they
original,
not,
since
sort of
PlayStation
fixed
1.
this? But
It's been a flawless, plan for 20 years to be able to put in a disc and play it, but for some reason they're like, nah, let's change it up a bit.
Yeah. So I mean, there was another fake bug or
Oh.
I don't know problem with the Xbox.
It was kind of funny.
So this
but
is
embarrassing.
ridiculous, right? I'm sure everyone has heard of this or seen a video of this of smoke coming out the top of the Xbox.
Yeah.
Obviously, when I first saw this, and as I imagine everyone did, they were like, "Oh my god, this is horrendous! How is this?"
I know.
how is
I
this
was thinking,
possible?"
what has happened here?
But it turns out people are just vaping into the vents.
What was the
and
quote from Xbox?
They said, "I know this is. I can't believe we have to say this, but." Please don't vape into your new consoles. It's like, why do
common
they have to
sense,
disclaim
lads.
that? Why did they have to disclaim
That's
that?
not
It's not the way of the
something. That's
world.
for someone who's eating glue.
Like, is that?
You shouldn't be highlighting the fact. Please don't vape in the
Is this just
Xbox.
the way of the world now? Like, people are vaping into their Xboxes.
I mean, I assume PlayStation haven't received any. Maybe it's just Xbox players.
I don't even know if you can vape into the PlayStation. Maybe
Well,
PlayStation
granted,
people are
like
like,
vents or
actually, we're
anything
going to
like
make more sense because we're not going to just vape into
We're
it.
going to make sure there were no vents in the PlayStation so people don't
If I,
fucking put smoke in it.
if I spent $500 or £500 on this new console, my first thought would be,
Yes.
let's see if I can break it by vaping into it. It's like,
Let's
right.
let's see how quickly I can destroy
It's
this
just,
very expensive console by
I
just
don't
bought.
know. But yeah, Xbox are yet to respond about the other issues.
Do you think they will?
I hope so, or maybe they'll just release an update, which maybe it's just a software issue. Hopefully, I don't know. Maybe it's just a disk drive update issue.
What you think? A disk drive update issue?
Yes,
So
you can
it's
update the
nothing,
you
like
can
physically wrong.
Yeah,
with
you can update
console
the
itself.
you can actually update the console to update the disk drive, because it may just be an old version that can't, run it. So I'm hoping it's something like that. But again, we don't really know
But
the problem.
surely the old version shouldn't be there in the first place.
No, it shouldn't. But, like I said, maybe they rushed it out and they've kept the old version there on some of them by mistake.
They must have had a spare 5 minutes before launch thinking, let's just, right, lads, before we send this off, let's just chuck in a disc. Let's see if it loads. Yeah. If it works, boom, we'll send it off. But I guess we just didn't have a spare minute or two to test that out, I guess.
So, I guess we've got to wait and see if Xbox do actually respond to it. If you are having problems with your Xbox, obviously get in touch with Microsoft and be like, yo, give me a new console. Or just trade it in and go to PlayStation or PC.
Exactly.
I feel like a lot of people will be very upset by this. Obviously, this is going to have a very negative effect. I mean, like I said, we kind of expect it. It's a stressful time of year. Especially with new console launches, they're always going to have bugs. New games. It's going to happen.
Yeah, little bugs.
PlayStation,
sure.
I think, have had one known bug so far, which is something to do with the downloading.
Bug snacks.
No, bug snacks. Yeah,
hey.
It's a good one. Good one.
Thank you.
So you kind of throw me off a little bit now. I'm just like,
I'm here all week, Chris.
You've been saving that all week, waiting for it.
Exactly. Just waiting for that little joke.
Yeah, people at PlayStation have had sort of one known error issue at the moment with downloading games. I think it just gets stuck sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
So when you download a update for a game, it just gets stuck. So it just says waiting to download.
Oh, like it pauses.
But you just have to apparently reset the console, and then it does it, and then it's fine.
Okay.
So that's a softer issue.
If it's literally just turning it off and on again, I'm fine with that because I could figure that out.
I mean,
that isn't complicated.
Again, it's hassle. They can fix it with a software update.
Exactly.
It's nothing. You can't not put a disc.
You just turn it off and on again.
So I mean, so far, I mean, these issues were known. Like the thing is with these issues, they were caught pretty quickly, obviously, because it was like the first day or two.
It was day one.
Yeah, first couple of days of the Xbox being on. Yeah. I mean, other than that, I haven't heard anything else from PlayStation, so they sound like they're doing pretty well. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't heard any. Yeah, exactly. You only get any. You get small little bugs or glitches and what.
You expect them though, don't you? It's like first day.
Little tiny things. Every no launch is perfect. No launch is flawless. You can expect tiny little things, but not being able to put in a disc physically into a console, a next gen console in 2020, you have problems on your hands.
I do hope they comment on it or say, look, we see these issues. We're going to get a patch out there. We're going
to sort it out. Yeah. I hope so. I really hope so because it's not it's unfair for people waiting for this. It's a lot. £450 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
You should be able to expect. You should be able to expect the bare minimum of putting in a disc.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
So, in other news, before we get too annoyed with Xbox,
I think I am already.
The embargo has been lifted for Demon's Souls, so the reviews are out. And as you could expect, Jack, they are incredible reviews. Yeah, they're really good. Yes. I don't think anybody expected any different. So, for those of you who don't know, Demon's Souls is a Dark Souls-like game. If you don't know what Dark Souls is, I'm pretty sure you know what Dark Souls is.
Well, it's the original Dark Souls game.
It's the original Dark Souls game. And obviously, Bluepoint did a remake for it. They did a remake of Shadow of Colossus as well. So they're the sort of go-to developers for a remake. They tend to do really well with the remakes. Like Shadow of Colossus did really well. And apparently this has done really well. So, this is the review from GameSpot, and this is sort of the general consensus that everyone's come to on sort of other sources of the reviews as well. So it's kind of like an overview. So GameSpot says, quirks aside, this is like a sort of summary. Bluepoint's remake is an I don't even know, success. Demonstrative success.
Are you okay?
I missed that then. I was like, my screen went up.
Right.
It is a technical tour de force and a true showpiece for the PlayStation 5 and the power of Sony's next generation console. But more importantly, it is also creative marvel coming from a studio that is clearly showing the world it has its own voice. Bluepoint has taken From Software's original game and expressed it in a richer and fuller way, and in doing so, given me something I have thought was impossible, the opportunity to relive the experience of falling in love with Soul games for the first time. They rated it 9 out of 10, which is the general sort of results they get, 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. So, from getting from that quote, what I've seen in other sources as well, apparently they've done the remake incredibly well. I've never played the original game, but a lot of people are saying it feels like the old game but brand new, if that makes sense. Like it keeps the original, it
reimagined.
keeps the sort of fundamentals, like the bosses, the animations, the world, the same as what it was in the original, but made it today's standard, right?
Right.
A next generation console. And I've heard like one person even quoted, right? This is a bold quote, but
Ooh, okay.
one person said that this is the PlayStation's best launch game ever. Ever. So thinking of all the,
out of every
out
console.
of every console, this is the best launch game ever.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, how many do you know the facts about how many it's sold?
I don't know how many is
How
sold
many
yet.
got
They
brought
haven't.
back?
They haven't said anything about how much is sold yet, and how well it's sort of
So
doing.
this is just his opinion on saying it's the best game ever made.
But
for PlayStation.
Launched, no, for launch. So it's the best launch title that's ever been.
Why is he saying? Well, I mean, it launched very successfully.
No,
but
I mean like
I'm sure you can
no.
compare it
So
to
no,
other
you're thinking of so like PlayStation 5 launch titles, right? You've got Spider-Man, Demon's Souls, what was it? Ratchet and Clank's not one. Bugsnax. They're launch titles, right? They're games that are launching with the.
Oh,
so
right.
So,
I see. Okay,
so he
I see.
thinks it's the
first
best.
the first game that launched with the console.
With any of the consoles, he thinks it's the best.
I thought you meant.
You mean it's successful.
Any
launch.
game ever released.
Yeah, you were like, what?
On the console.
I mean,
I
that's
was
good.
like, wow, that's a bold
probably going to be
statement.
Cyberpunk, but yeah, that's a bold statement. But
I mean, do you remember what? Do you remember the launch titles?
The thing is, I can't. But like, launch titles have never really been great.
They've always been place fillers. Haven't
Yeah,
they?
they've never really been, ones that are memorable.
They've mainly just existed just so that the console has games to play.
Yeah, they're just sort of fillers.
Except for Xbox Series X.
Yeah, when they have nothing. But they just, I don't know, they've never really had big ones. But it's still a good fact that it's the best.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. PS5 have got a good range of launch titles.
So, I mean, are you surprised by this review? Are you surprised that it's...
No, I've looked at the gameplay. It's I've said this a couple of times. It's probably the best. I thought it was the best looking game on out of the PlayStation 5 launch titles personally, and it would be the game I would pick up first.
Yeah.
And the gameplay, I've compared it to the original Demon's Souls, and it's clearly it's point for point. It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Except they've improved quality of life, and they've improved all the graphics to live up to today's standards.
Unfortunately, we can't give our review on it yet because I literally
we live in the UK.
The thing is, I'm looking at Demon's Souls box right now.
Oh, have you got it?
I've got it. Like it's like I've got Spider-Man.
Hold on, Chris. Why can't you play it?
Because I don't have the console yet. Because the game's apparently released in the UK before the console did, which is
now that is a bit silly. Going to be honest.
So I mean, fingers crossed. I'm hoping everything goes smoothly on Thursday and actually get it on the date and not have like an Amazon thing where it's like
say that out
December.
loud. You're going to jinx yourself.
So hopefully by the next episode, I can actually have my personal opinion.
A review on it. Yeah. I just want to play Demon's Souls, even though I don't have a PlayStation. I just want to get my hands on it.
I'm a huge fan of Dark Souls games. I love them. And I'm just. I mean,
based on, I guess it's hard to say how. I guess it's hard to say for you to compare Demon's Souls to other Dark Souls games because you haven't played it. But initial thoughts, where would you rank it in the Souls franchise?
I mean, I'll have to say after I've played it, if it's going to be my favorite one, or where I'd sort of put it on the leaderboard, I guess, right?
But if you have to take a stab at the dark now, where would you guess?
But I mean, looking at it, it looks like a Dark Souls game made today. Like it looks like no, but I mean,
it is.
I mean, it looks like the animations, the world, the characters, the enemies, just all look something I love about a Dark Souls game.
The thing that impresses me much about the watching it is the amount of detail.
Yeah.
Personally,
and they've got
the amount of the graphics are so fantastic.
Music's amazing as well. Like on the trailer,
good.
the music was amazing.
Yeah.
They obviously.
I think the music's always been good for Dark
Souls are really good. They've got this sort of 3D audio, which PlayStation have, PlayStation 5, which is a big part of it now. I'm not really sure about the details of that, but apparently that plays a big part in it.
I've heard a lot about, I'm probably going to get all this wrong. What's it called? Like the controller that PlayStation has. It's
DualSense.
DualSense got the what's it called?
Haptic feedback. Yeah.
Now, I've heard a lot.
I've heard it's amazing.
Especially with the Demon Souls. Apparently,
yeah.
it complemented so well.
Yeah.
Like apparently, you can hear or you can sense
Feel
like
it
if someone's shooting an arrow past you.
How clever
you can
is
feel
that?
small vibrations. If you're swinging the sword, you can feel the weight of it.
Yeah.
If you get hit back, you can feel that too. It adds to the immersion that I don't think any game has allowed you to, especially with the technology has been previously.
And
but this all this haptic sense and dual senses, all this.
It's really good. Like
I've gobbledygook, but I don't know what it is.
But apparently,
it's just fantastic.
But apparently, a lot of people don't know what it is until they've tried it. So what I've heard a lot of reviews saying is like they go through everything, but they also say it's amazing, but we can't describe it to you. You have to play it for yourself. We can't describe it to you. It's just
because you can't describe it, can you? You have to be there. You have to feel it yourself. That's the point of the controller. You need to hold it.
I hope this is Thursday, because we can actually get our hands on it. We can,
that would be nice.
Play it, get a review on, just go through it, and hopefully.
I think we need it, don't we?
Yeah.
It'd just be a nice thing to have for 2020.
Yes, I think this year. I think everyone can agree has just been horrendous, and it's nice to have this thing to sort of wrap the year up.
It's not a huge thing. You know, it's not world changing, but it's just a nice thing to have. Just to end the year on a bit of a good note.
But I mean, I'm not surprised by these reviews. Like from what I've seen of the game, I think you can agree as well. It just looks incredible. Yeah. It looks like a next-gen game, and it looks like a Dark Souls game to me. Like it looks like a game I'm going to fall in love with. I just know I will.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm just really looking forward to getting my hands on it. Well, I've got my hands on it. I'm looking forward.
Well, you got your hands on it. It's just a matter of playing it.
I'm looking forward to actually playing it.
That would be nice.
So, do you want to go on to the next news story?
Yes, this involves Ghost of Tsushima and it passing 5 million sales, which is quite impressive.
Really impressive.
So this is from Eurogamer. PlayStation exclusive Ghost of Tsushima has now sold more than 5 million copies, Sony has announced. Notching up that number of sales since July also makes it the fastest selling first-party original PlayStation 4 game, according to PlayStation Worldwide Studios boss Herman Holst. What does this mean? Well, Ghost of Tsushima has hit that 5 million sales milestone faster than any other Sony-made PS4 game. With a caveat that this stat refers to original PS4 games, which sounds like it rules out PS3 ports like The Last of Us Remastered, for example. Big question.
Go on.
Do you think now that it's gained this much popularity, do you think it demands a sequel?
Oh yeah, I think this has I think it's inevitable in words of Thanos. I think it's inevitable that
God, don't give me Thanos quotes in 2020. Chris.
I think it's inevitable that they are actually going to make another one. It's so successful. How could they not? And congratulations to Sucker Punch on doing such a good job. I mean, I've played the game, and everyone has, and it's such a fluid game. It's just such a nice game, and it's a good time. Like the thing is with COVID going around this year, it's kind of a blessing in disguise for video game companies, right? So when they actually do release the game, I think potentially it gives them more sales because a lot of people are stuck inside.
That is true. Well, yeah, exactly.
They want to, they sort of want to.
You need a way to pass the time.
They want a game. They want a brand new game, and I think that has helped them. I'm not saying it wouldn't have done this. Eventually, I just think it would have been slower. So they've done it quite fast. I think it would have been slower if it wasn't 2020, right? Other than that, I think they definitely deserve it. I think it's a very good game. Sucker Punch has never really made a bad game before, but they've always been that quiet game company, so they've done the infamous games.
Yes. So they're kind of in the background, but once they release a whopper, it's
I think now they've done this, it's given them the spotlight, because, they've done so well, and they've also released this Legends update, which is the co-op one, the multiplayer.
Oh, okay.
For free.
That's good.
Yeah, which
that's
is
nice.
Amazing. I love that.
As you should.
As
a game company.
Continue to do this. Do it.
So when was Ghost of Tsushima? What was the specific date?
When did it come out?
Yeah.
July, I think.
July.
I can't remember.
Well, yeah,
I can't remember.
I know it's July, but
July the 19th, I think, or July the 10th. I can't remember.
I'm just thinking because clearly Ghost of Tsushima was released during the highlight of this pandemic,
it was right,
especially during the lockdown.
Peak, yeah.
It was right in the dead center of it. So it would obviously be quicker, sales-wise, compared to things like Last of Us 2 and other games released slightly earlier or later. I think it was in that kind of. it's bad for me to say it's in that sweet spot.
Yeah.
But like it kind of, what sales wise, it was kind of perfect timing, and knowing that like clearly everyone was staying indoors, because of COVID, and everyone wants to play a game. And it's the worst. Everyone's definitely going to stay inside.
So, I mean,
everyone's been instructed to stay inside. Pop a lockdown. This game is clearly going to give us a lot of sales.
Based on this, I mean, I'm not sure. I don't think I've heard anything. I don't know if you have. But based on this, do you think they're going to do a PlayStation 5 upgrade for the game? Like, do you think they'll do like a remastered?
I mean, the thing is, well, they won't do a remaster, but I imagine they'll have to do a PlayStation 5 kind of.
Yeah. And again, I'm sure it'll be free. You know, like all the updates are, which is great.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, they always do a free. Like a lot of 90% of the companies are doing a free PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5 upgrade, same as Xbox.
But I mean, it's begging to be on next-gen consoles.
Oh yeah,
even though because it looked fantastic on PlayStation 4, but PlayStation 5 could probably unlock its true potential.
Yeah, like it's one of, like, again, it's going to be loading times, I think, which are going to really have a big
that's one of the main reasons, loading times.
And like,
definitely.
It was one of the only games, I think I mentioned this when I did my review on it. It's one of the only games I've actually used photo mode on. Like, I don't really care about photo mode.
That is true.
But it was
I've never used photo mode.
It was beautiful. Yeah. Like, it was just such a nice world. And, yeah.
The only time I ever used photo mode was, I think it was Metro Exodus. That game looked pretty good.
That was pretty cool.
But yeah, that's the only time I've ever used it besides, like, I don't know, Far Cry 3.
Yeah.
That was like 8 years ago. But yeah, it deserves a photo mode because it just looks breathtaking, doesn't it?
I mean, like, are you surprised by the fact it's, like, the fastest Sony-made PlayStation 4 game?
What, the entire game?
It's it's the fastest selling one.
Well, like I said, I think just
because
due to the time it was released,
yeah.
I think it kind of bumped up the sales even more than it would compared to previous years. So it kind of had a bit of an advantage to others. But I think maybe without the pandemic,
it would have been slower.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think it would have been slower. I don't think it would have been the most, like the quickest selling game.
So,
I don't think, personally.
I think this kind of goes on to our next story as well, because we're kind of touching base on that as well. Xbox Series X and S was Xbox's biggest launch ever. So again, I think this is
contrary news to the first.
one.
Yeah.
So this comes from Eurogamer. Microsoft has triumphed the release of Xbox Series X and S as its biggest Xbox launch ever, though not provided by any specific sales figures. Xbox boss Phil Spencer broke the news on Twitter today, noting that more Xbox consoles have been sold in more countries than ever before, and that many more were on the way. Xbox Series X and S are sold out in many places, making this, like many console launches, simply a matter of how many console boxes Microsoft can inject into retailers to sell on launch day. The mention of more countries this time around is also important. Xbox Series X/S arrived on the I hate that name. Arrived on the same day in 37 markets compared to just 13 for Xbox One. Still, as video games analyst David Ahmad, I'm sorry if I butchered your name, points out, I mean I follow him on Twitter, he's great. Points out any total
small little plug-in.
Get that in. Any total now with the largest ever for Xbox beans is higher than the 1 million units Microsoft managed at the Xbox One's launch, which is no mean featuring in the middle of a pandemic. So again, we kind of touched on this with Ghost of Tsushima. It's no surprise it's the biggest launch. People are stuck indoors. They want something to play.
It's a shame they bought an Xbox.
It's a shame they got an Xbox with problems.
Hey.
But you know what I mean, don't you? Like it's.
Like I said, with Ghost of Tsushima, the pandemic has kind of highlighted people's interest to find an indoor hobby, essentially.
So, I mean, I don't think the sort of pandemic has a big effect on consoles, if I'm honest with you, purely because I think they would have sold out anyway. I think gaming is just getting more popular with people. Like, gaming used to be a very specific thing back on like the PlayStation 2 and 3. Now people are just playing it. Like, everyone's playing it. You know, like it's. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel it's becoming more normalized.
Oh yeah, it's definitely
more normalized
become
hobby.
a bigger. Yeah, exactly. You know, it used to be a kind of niche thing. It used to be only like teenagers kind of played this kind of thing. Now, yeah, exactly.
You know,
and obviously we got offended the most.
Yeah.
People claiming only nerds play it, because obviously we're totally not that, are we, Chris?
Not at all. And we sort of set the trend to not be nerds.
Exactly. We set the trends.
Yeah.
But yeah, literally any demographic has access to it. Kids, teens, adults. your dad, your granddad,
Exactly.
anyone's going to play it.
You know, and I think, obviously I think it's sold more units because of the pandemic, but I don't think it
Yeah,
would have
definitely.
sold a lot less because of it.
No, yeah, I agree with that. It would have sold out anyway, but I definitely think it sold out quicker due to the circumstances everyone's in.
And come on now, Xbox, pull your finger out and get these bugs sorted, because you can't go from that high to go all the way down low. You can't come from Cloud 9
Exactly.
and hit
But
the floor.
I mean, even though I think it was a bigger sale than Xbox One anyway, because I don't think Xbox One was marketed very well.
Yeah.
You know, they were highlighting it more as essentially like a streaming platform.
Yeah.
You know, you can have all of your streaming apps. Essentially, they were just highlighting the amount of things you can watch and where you can watch them, and you can do it all on the Xbox One instead of kind of highlighting the games you can play. So they advertised it very poorly, but I guess this time they're trying to focus more on the gaming aspect, even though there aren't many games to play on it. But, you know, we'll get them eventually, but they are focusing more on that, which I appreciate. But yeah, I'm not surprised that it's the biggest launch, personally.
No, I agree. I think I agree with you. It's I think it would have been the biggest launch anyway, regardless of the pandemic. I think it would have been their, biggest launch.
Yeah, I mean, you got four to choose. You got the original Xbox, you got the 360, you got Xbox One, and you got
Like I said, I
this.
think they're just getting more popular. Like gaming is just becoming more normalized.
Yeah,
now
gaming generally.
as a hobby.
Everyone's doing it. It's I appreciate everyone. Like before, no one viewed it as a hobby.
No.
Everyone just thought it was like, oh, it's a waste of time.
Yeah, nudes and
you'll waste. Yeah. You'll waste your time. What are you doing? Oh, you just playing this game? Are you? It's like, well, now everyone's kind of on the trend. It's a popular hobby.
Yeah.
It's a hobby.
It is a hobby.
It's something.
It is a
it's
hobby.
something to pass the time.
It doesn't.
And
it doesn't.
and people do it for jobs.
Yeah.
It's a job as well.
It literally,
playing games. Twitch streamers, all sorts. YouTubers, a lot.
It doesn't matter what your hobby is. At least you have a hobby.
Yeah, I'm not gonna judge you for
For
being
having
into
fun,
crochet.
for having fun in life. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you knitting. I think
I may not do it, but
why is your hobby more?
yeah,
relevant
I'd be like, right, you like
than
knitting,
playing
but I'm
games?
not going to do it. But that's great. Carry on.
Yeah, it's just as relevant as reading a book or watching a movie.
Exactly.
It's about being involved in a story you like.
Yeah,
and the thing is, gaming is more interesting because you are in control of the characters
and
that you're introduced to.
gaming is just getting so amazing now. Like like graphics
Oh,
now are
the
getting
games
almost real
coming out.
life.
It's so real. Imagine imagine in like
graphics and just
40
everything.
years.
Yeah.
40 years time. Imagine what gaming is going to
But
look
not just
like.
that. You look at storylines like The Last of Us. That's better
God,
than most movies I've seen.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
exactly.
mean?
The storylines that are so underappreciated, I think, in gaming because you get some top-notch stories.
Yeah,
compared to
a lot of
movies
people.
and books.
I used to do it a lot. I will say, I used to skip cutscenes. I was a kid. I used to think, can't be
definitely.
arsed.
I just wanted
wanna...
to play. I just
But
wanted to play.
When you watch a cutscene, it's just it changes everything about the game.
Yeah, each game is different.
know?
I enjoy Halo. That's the story I invested in the most out of any franchise, and I will fight anyone to the death about it. So yeah, story is getting more. I think it's getting more and more important and relevant. I think
100%.
stories in games because
100%.
back in the day it was all about fun gameplay, but now I
Yeah.
think stories are. With investing yourself in stories and characters, I think it's quite important these days.
I agree.
Especially with PlayStation 4 games.
Yeah.
Or PlayStation games in general. They have a lot more single player.
They do
open world.
experiences. Yeah.
Yeah, they have a lot more story-driven games.
I agree.
I've noticed,
Yeah.
which is great. I'm a fan of that.
So do you want to segue us then? That sort of concludes the news. Do you want to segue us into?
Game of the week.
Nice, nice.
Trying to make it more.
This is different.
grandiose.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I guess I'll go first. So in honor of Demon Souls, I thought I would prepare myself. I thought I would prepare myself to die. People who know the game understand why I'm saying prepare to die. I've been playing Dark Souls 3. Okay.
What a shock.
Who
Who would have known?
Oh man, I just love the Dark Souls games and all the Souls games, Bloodborne. I just love them all. They're just amazing. Sekiro, and Dark Souls 3. I played it about 4 years ago when it first came out. So I haven't played it for about 4 years. So I can't really remember much about it.
Really?
Yeah. So I can't remember.
It's been
much
that long.
about it. I remember
Nice.
sort of key bosses and stuff like that. So I started playing it, and I just remember why I fell in love with this game. The thing is with the Dark Souls games and all the Souls games, the story is hidden. So the story, you kind of have to speak to NPCs to find out what's going on in the world and why you're doing what
Right.
you're doing, and all these sort of side characters, and you've got to actually seek out the story. So it's
It
there for you.
encourages you to like investigate.
Yeah, so it's there for you if you want it.
Put your
right?
time into it.
Which a lot of people, obviously don't like. I don't mind it. You just got to get into that mind frame that you need to look for the story, rather than just be like, well, why isn't there a
It being
cutscene?
presented to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Because the main points of Dark Souls game are the big epic boss
Bosses.
fights,
And,
you've gone to face.
you definitely benefit. I'm the type of guy who, because you benefit from looking at the sort of descriptions of weapons and items and stuff like that, because it gives you lore on the items, and you find out more about the boss you just took down. Or if you look at the souls, because every time you kill a boss, you get its soul. If you actually read
Yes.
the description of the soul, it tells you more about the boss. And to give that sort of characteristics to a boss, because when I first played Dark Souls games, and I'm sure you've done the same, I'm sure we've all done, you go up to a boss and you just think he's just a bad guy. But when you look at the lore, you understand why
He's not that
Yeah,
much of a bad
you
guy.
understand-
He's a good person.
you understand why that boss is there and what made them go bad. Like, you understand what they're trying to do. So
why their soul turned dark.
exactly. So, for example, there's like, this is like massive. There's this basically one at the start called Iodux Gradier, I
Okay.
think his name is.
Right.
And he basically he was the first. So what the story is about, before I talk about him, the story is you are basically an undead or an ashened one, right? You have been
Okay.
sent to this world. It's different to Dark Souls 1 and 2, to
Right.
rekindle the flame, because the flame's gone out in this world, and everyone's turning dead and going crazy and turning everyone to zombies and stuff like that, right? So that's why everyone in this world wants to kill you, basically.
Yes.
So your goal is
Obviously.
to rekindle the flame, so light the flame again, to restore power, to restore everyone's life back to where it was. Okay, that's essentially what you're trying to do. And obviously you've got all
simple
these.
and straightforward.
You've obviously got all these enemies trying to get in your way.
Yeah.
And like sometimes when I read the lore of the actual game, I feel bad for killing the boss. Like, let me tell you, sometimes it's
You
depressing.
feel bad.
So, going back to the first boss, the reason why I'm sort of highlighting him is because when you first, it's like the tutorial boss. When you go down to him, he's like dead, frozen in with like a sword through it. And
Yeah, you have to take the sword out.
you
don't
take the sword out, and the reason why he's there is because he was the first one to try and rekindle the flame before you. There's only one person who can rekindle a flame, so he tried to rekindle a flame, but didn't succeed. He couldn't find the flame. Basically, he couldn't find it. He was like, I can't find it, and eventually just
That guy couldn't find the flame.
yeah. Eventually, he got he went
powerful.
He went crazy and just ended up dying.
Right.
And he ended up getting the abyss, like sort of the abyss is the whole thing. I don't want to talk about too much. I could go on this forever. But the abyss.
I mean, this is it. It's the thing is, it's so
It's so
interesting.
like the
you
lore.
could talk about the thing is, you could talk about
the
every
lore
boss
is incredible.
in
Like
depth, couldn't you?
I think anyone can agree the lore behind Dark. Like even though you've got to look for it, the lore behind it is just incredible.
Interesting.
And
yeah.
there's this thing called like the abyss, and the abyss is what takes over when the flame's not there. It's like the darkness.
Gotcha.
It's like the zombie plague,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess. And he's been
Okay.
taken over by the abyss, and that's why he obviously tries to stop you. So when you kill him, you get the coiled sword, and you relight the sort of first flame. Right, you relight the flame in the first area. That's your sort of hub area. And then you go on your adventure. You go on your adventure trying to rekindle the sort of master flame and restore all the souls back from the sort of the giants that try and tuck it. It's so in depth. I could go on for it forever. But like I said,
The thing is, you could make a whole episode dedicated. to this,
exactly,
couldn't
and
quite easily.
I love it. Like the actual story, I love. You do have to look for it, and it is. Some people don't agree with that. Like you have to look for it, but if you just get into that mindset, that's fine. Just look at YouTube videos. That's what I would do.
Yeah, there's so many
Yeah.
like in-depth lore videos, I imagine.
But in terms of the combat, I think everybody knows the combat in Dark Souls is it's more about, I guess it's not just running in there and just going like
it's timing,
it's
isn't it?
timing. It's more finesse to it. You've got to pick your chances. You can't just go in there and just run and gun.
Swing and
Essentially,
hope for the
you've
best.
got to have a bit more,
Gotta
like I
time
said,
your
finesse.
shots.
You've got to time your shots. You've got to know when to take your shots. You can't just go in there and you go. You know, and a lot of the time everyone does this. I get greedy sometimes if I think, oh, that boss is
You
almost
have
dead.
one more, yeah,
and I've just
one more hit.
don't ever do it, right? This is a word of caution. Don't ever go in there for that extra shot. Come back, reassess, then go back in.
You've got time. You've got all the time in the world.
But the combat I love. I think that's what everyone sort of loves about Dark Souls. The fact that you can get stuck on a boss. I know it's frustrating. I know it's just so annoying. But when you overcome that, it's
a good
it's
feeling,
a good
isn't it?
feeling. It's like no other feeling, right?
One thing I kind of enjoy with the combat is that even the common enemies provide a challenge, don't they?
Yeah, and you like
It's not just the
thing
bosses.
is,
Like a random guy could just take you out.
after you kill a boss and you get to the next area, you sort of your short period of relief is over, and you see an enemy like, oh, for fuck's sake, what am I gonna have to deal with
here
now?
we go.
And you're like,
Yeah,
okay, this is pretty cool. But in terms of the bosses, like in terms of Dark Souls 3 specific bosses, I love the bosses in them. I think Dark Souls 3 is probably my favourite one.
Out of the three?
Out of the three, yeah, I think it's probably my favourite one. I think it sort of takes everything good from 1 and 2 and blends it together and sort of takes away the bad stuff. And the bosses, the boss designs, man, are just so cool. Like they're just.
Do you have a favourite boss?
I mean, in terms of looks,
Does a boss spring to mind?
I mean, my favourite, but the most.
Well, maybe not fun to fight, but just like the
Nameless
character
King,
or the look of it, or
the Nameless King, because
Okay.
he's the hardest boss. Like I would fight anyone and say he's the hardest boss. Right? He's ridiculous. He's an optional boss. He's not he's not part of it. He looks awesome. He basically, first time you meet him, he comes down on the dragon, and you have to fight him and the dragon. When you kill the dragon, he absorbs the soul of the dragon and becomes stronger. And the lore behind him is so cool as well. He basically betrayed the king of the land and just went rogue and just was like, fuck you, I'm going to try and take over the land myself. Obviously, the king found out, so he like sort of banished him. I'm just sort of summarising now.
yeah, but I mean,
and the lore is just so good behind him as well, and he's just such a badass character.
You probably
Scary.
have all the Dark Souls veterans
Scary.
thinking, "Oh, this guy's probably the easiest boss."
No,
Who
I
do you
think
you are?
I think it's known he is a hard boss. Like it is known.
Okay.
Just look at the video. Just look at a video of the boss, and you will see what I mean. He's just ridiculous.
The Nameless King.
But I also like
They have some good names.
Yeah, I also like the last boss, which is the Soul of Cinder. So essentially, he is he's sort of the boss which has all of the souls of the lords of the land blended into one. So he's like all of them, and he just looks awesome. He's the guy on the front cover. He's the arm, arm, and it's just awesome. I mean, the music's great in it. I think everyone can agree. Like the boss fight music kind of gets you going, and you can kind of
the boss fights always shit me up.
Yeah, and
I'm just like, oh no,
the weapons, the fact as well, like the RPG element of that game is just fantastic. You know, you can do different builds. You can be a mage. You can be a more of a stealthy sort of dex character. You can be like a strong, just go in there with a club. You can be.
Do you ever choose to be the weakest character imaginable? Just like one running in with like a wooden stick.
No, I couldn't do that. I mean, some people have literally done it with their fists before, and I'm just like, how have you done that? But again, it's just learning the sort of patterns, I guess. You know, it's all about patterns.
I suppose so, but imagine doing like have there ever been any like runs of like the weakest character ever made?
There probably has, yeah. There probably has.
How do you do that? How much time do you have?
People have sped run that game. Like,
how?
I don't know.
How do you do it?
But yeah, I mean, like I said, the fact that you can have just so many different builds. I'm quite basic with my builds.
What builds is your go-to?
I tend to usually go for strength builds. So I'll have a shield in one hand and I'll have like a really strong sort of sword in one hand just because it's my go-to one. But I think with Demon Souls, I'm going to start to experience the different side of things. So I'm going to do my classic sword and shield. But then once I've done it on New Game Plus, I'm going to go for like a mage, pyromancy. There's so many different types of magic as well, and people don't know that about Dark Souls because they think it's just a hard game. They don't see the build side of things.
There are so many ways to approach.
There's so many ways.
Enemies,
you have intelligence, you have miracles, you have just so many different kind of spells and ways you can play the game. It's unreal.
Okay.
But I haven't really experienced too much of that with any of the games. Like I said, I just go for sword and shield, so I want to try and get better at it.
I want to try and get out of your comfort zone.
And I think, PlayStation 5 is, there's not really any pressing games coming out apart from Cyberpunk.
No,
even
you
though
have
that's not gonna
time.
come out.
We don't know when that's going to come out.
But overall, I
got
mean, I think everyone who's been listening to the podcast, everyone knows Dark Souls is just so close to my heart in general. I just love it. It's one of my favourite
It's just a good
game
franchise.
franchises, and I think everyone can agree on it, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
Not much to bash about it, is there?
in terms of my official Game Junkies review, I don't know why I sort of mumbled that. I don't know why I'm mumbling
Game
it.
Junkies
Yeah,
review.
there we go. 10. You know, 10 out of 10.
Ooh.
Yeah.
10
10
out of 10.
Yeah. I
That
think.
is... How many games have we given 10 out of 10?
I don't think we have we? Maybe Skyrim?
We must
I think
have.
Skyrim we
You-
gave, and then
I
that
think
was
we
it.
got Skyrim, maybe you might have said Witcher.
Witcher, I think, was 10 out of 10. Yeah,
Maybe.
I think, yeah. Dark
It
Souls
must be
3
like
is 10 out of
3
10.
at least, yeah.
10 out of 10.
Wow, 10 out of
I
10.
know.
And that's an official
And that's official. So
rating,
take
by
that
the way.
home and use it with every confidence with it, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Just take that. Yeah.
Great.
So what have you been playing?
Well, my game's on the complete opposite end of the spectrum.
Right.
I have been playing Golf with Your Friends,
Ah,
which is completely
bosses?
opposite to Dark Souls 3.
bosses,
No,
man?
not at all. I don't know about you. I adore mini golf. It's a great activity to do when you're like, you know, when I was living in Cardiff, that's what I used to do. There was like a mini golf thing in the shopping centre, so I went there every now and again. It was great fun.
Nice.
I've kind of missed that experience, so I thought, oh, let's see if there's any golf games out there, and there is. It's Golf with Your Friends, and it's surprisingly quite fun actually.
Right.
Obviously, I was going to say, what is it? Well, obviously, it's just mini golf. but
Can
it's
I
online.
guess?
Go on. See,
Wrong
how much
answers
fun it is.
only. Guess what this game is?
Only.
Wrong answers
Golf
only.
with Your Friends, wrong answers only.
Racing game?
Brilliant.
No.
I mean, it could be.
I mean, it could be if you
essentially.
think about it. Golf with your friends. Maybe golfs
yeah, I
are
guess
like,
so.
you know, the golfs is in the car. Volkswagen golfs.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Exactly. Golf with your friends, Volkswagen. Yeah, just the rallies. Yeah.
You
So
don't
this
say it,
has.
did you?
I don't know. I'm just
What's going on anymore?
rambling.
What's going
I'm
on
sorry.
anymore?
Yeah. So this has 12 courses. I'll try and list it off. You got a forest.
Right.
You've got a haunted mansion.
That sounds great.
You got an that's actually probably one of my favourite ones.
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounds like
Mansion.
it would be my favourite.
You got an oasis. You have a space station. That's pretty interesting. You have a museum. You got a pirate cove, a volcano. I think you got like an ancient like archaeological dig.
That's
site,
pretty cool. Volcano
which is
as well.
quite
Sounds
interesting.
pretty
Candyland.
cool. Nice.
You have this kind of it's called like Twilight, which is just like set in like an evening city.
Okay.
Worms, based off like the classic Worms game.
Okay.
You remember Worms?
Yeah.
So it's like a level designed on like a course designed on like how the levels of Worms were designed. I
Okay.
guess.
That sounds interesting.
And then you have one that was PC only called The Escapists.
Okay.
So there's like a course designed on them basically.
So, like, in terms of gameplay, it's hard to imagine. Is it like a third person? Do you just run around, or do you just...
No, it's how would you imagine it? It's you're in the first person perspective. And
Is it like cartoon kind of graphics, or is it
yeah,
more...
it's not like an official golf game.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, there are like proper
Like PGA
golf
Tour, right?
games.
PGA
on-
Tour 20
Yeah,
or
exactly.
whatever,
There's things like that. It's just sort of like a fun arcadey kind of game. Really, it's quite cartoony. It's just more chill. It's a mini golf game. You know, you don't get any serious mini golf games,
Yeah,
do you?
exactly.
I've never really seen like an in-depth, like properly designed AAA mini golf
Mini
game.
golf
Even though that would be amazing,
That would
I would
be
love
pretty good.
that.
That would be...
Anyone, if CD Projekt Red, I don't know if you're listening. Maybe your next venture, maybe including Cyberpunk, you can have like a
Golf.
Oh, that would be cool.
I mean, it was on
Imagine
GTA,
Cyberpunk had
right?
mini golf.
Pretty sure it was on GTA. It wasn't mini golf, but it was on
It was
there.
just golf.
So, I
wasn't
mean, I'm pretty sure you
it?
could
If
actually
Cyberpunk
ride...
had a mini golf section, that would be amazing.
I mean, in Cyberpunk,
CD
you can
Projekt
actually
do
ride a
that.
roller coaster, so...
Can you?
Yep.
I just want, yeah, I want mini golf. I want futuristic
Mini
mini
golf.
golf. Anyway, I think I've got
Yeah,
a
we're
course.
gonna-
So essentially, each course gets harder and harder. Some courses are quite challenging. You have some like weird obstacles that you wouldn't expect in the obviously real life mini golf.
Yeah,
You know,
standard.
since it's a game, you have like really weird obstacles to kind of obstruct you.
Mm.
And you get each hole provides a couple of routes to take. So not everyone's experience is exactly the same. You have like an easier but slower route, and then you have like a more risque route, but it might get you to the hole quicker. really. You can play up to 12 friends. There's 12 people you can play with, which is fine. Do you know 12 people? Because I don't.
I do not know 12 people.
Yeah, I play with like 3 or 4 mates, and it's all right. It's just fine as a game. It's the controls are fine. They're not the simplest, but they're not groundbreaking either. You just swing a ball
So is
on
it
a golf course essentially.
Is it better with friends?
Yeah. I would not. I don't know. I feel kind of. I don't know how to describe it. It feels kind of just like a bit lonely playing mini golf on your own.
Just put some music
especially
on.
when
everybody hurts.
Especially when it's on a console, rather than real life. You could potentially get away with playing mini golf on your own in real life.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
think
one of the things which is not socially normalised, is it?
It's not socially normalised to mini golf alone. Essentially, it's what you just be staring. Why is this 30-year-old man just playing mini golf on his own?
Yeah.
That would be a bit weird. But yeah, it's more fun with friends. You can have more banter. It's more maybe memorable kind of moments. You might like interfere with each other's gameplay. You might ruin it for someone else. You might somehow get a hole in one and you could brag about it. You know how it is in mini golf. It's mini golf just on a console, and it's all right. It's just a nice chill game, and it's better with friends.
So what is your official Game Junkies review? Why am I mumbling it?
I don't know.
Right, call an ambulance.
I mean, that's it's UK. So I mean, for a rating, I think a 7 out of 10.
That's fair.
Just mainly, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just an okay golf game. There's nothing groundbreaking about it. It's just mini golf, but on the console.
Yeah.
And if you like it, get it, I guess.
Is it on Game Pass, did you say?
It is on Game Pass.
That's great.
It is available on Game Pass and on PC.
Nice.
So you have a variety of ways to get it.
Okay. So that wraps up our sort of game reviews for the week. What have we been playing? Do you want to segue us on to the next segment?
Trivia round.
So, for people who don't know, for newcomers to the series, this is the sort of round where one person finds up to 5 quotes for the other one to guess, right? We need to come with an official.
Could you be a bit more?
We need to come up with an official description for this because
I swear every week we just make shit up.
So essentially,
so Chris needs to find 5 quotes from a game, and I need to guess which game.
Jack has to guess, and I did it last time. I got like 2.5.
I don't remember. It wasn't your highest mark.
No,
I'll give you that.
I've been in a bit of a rough patch. I have been struggling.
The thing is, we've said this several times. October, we had an awful time.
Yeah.
We all got very low marks. But this November was meant to be our saving grace. I got a 4.5, which I haven't had in a long time, which I was quite proud of. Chris, you kind of need to.
I'm like 2.5, so I need to set my game up. So I thought,
let's see if I can hold.
I thought, I'm not going to give you too much of a confidence boost this week. I thought I'm going to go quite difficult.
What?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go quite.
What
I say difficult. It depends on if you just know
random.
the game or not.
It's completely random.
Okay, so are you ready?
Sure, why not?
Like this one's kind of easy actually. Stay classy.
I'm not gonna give you a confidence boost. It's gonna be quite hard.
Okay.
Oh, this is gonna be quite easy.
Okay. Stay classy, New Vegas.
Is it?
Go on.
Is it Fallout New Vegas?
It is, yes. Imagine if it wasn't. That wasn't a trick one.
I was like, that would be
a
a
trick
fucking
one.
dick move if you gave me a.
Well
little
done.
trick
You've got one for one. Start off easy.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can we end it there?
Just
I got
end it
full
there. There
marks.
we go. Full marks, 100%. Okay. Actually, you haven't got full marks yet. I've got full marks a couple of times.
That is true.
So
you've had 5 out of 5 a couple of times.
Yeah,
so
so
I've
you
only
need to
had
get this 5 out of 5.
4.5s.
Okay.
Yeah.
The light lives in all places, in all things.
Destiny 2.
No. Destiny 1.
The light.
Speaker says it, yeah. You got half a mark.
I'm trying to like.
Yes, it's the
The light
speaker, you know,
lives in
like when he's like by his bookshelf.
places.
Yeah. So.
I'm convinced it's Destiny 2, but
No,
if it's half mark,
it
it's half
says
mark.
it says
I'm convinced,
Destiny 1,
but there we go.
But half mark.
Well, I'm gonna look. After this, I'm gonna look,
Right.
and we're gonna correct it.
Don't blame the game. Blame the player. I don't know. Right.
So I'm blaming you. You're the player.
Are you ready for the next one?
Okay. Here's 3. Okay.
If you find yourself in a hole, the first thing to do is stop digging.
Sorry, say that again.
If you find yourself in a hole, the first thing to do is stop digging.
I had a game in mind,
Go on.
but okay, give me a clue.
It's a large. Okay, the second one came out. No, the second one came out 2 years ago. The sequel to it. Sequel
Okay,
to it.
give me another.
It's an open world game.
Give me the quote one more time.
If you find yourself in a hole, the first thing to do is stop digging.
So there's a sequel released in 2 years ago, and it's an open world.
There
game.
was a sequel to it.
There
was To It. The sequel to it was released 2 years ago. I can't remember when.
So what? Sorry, what do you mean then?
So the sequel to the game,
That we're talking about was
Yeah.
released 2 years ago.
the sequel to it. Yeah. Right, gonna have to rush you. Right.
Hold on. Don't give me the give me a second. I don't know what you mean.
Right. How is that?
So
this game came out. The sequel to
Right.
it came out 2 years ago. How is that? How are you not
No,
getting
but the
it?
sequel means
How are you not getting it? It's the second.
the sequel.
The second
came
one.
out-
The second game came out 2 years ago. How are you not understanding this?
Are you referring to the second game, or are you
No,
not
I'm
referring
not.
to the second?
I said
game?
the sequel to this. Right, I'm gonna have to rush you. This is bad. 5, 4.
Is it Red Dead
3.
Redemption?
Yes. Was that so hard? Bloody
Are
hell.
the way you were.
No, it wasn't. I said the
was
sequel
so
to this game
was so
came out
confusing.
2 years ago. No, I didn't. No, it's,
That was so. That
No,
was
it
so confusing.
no, it wasn't. Everyone understood that. Right. Are you ready for the next one?
Fine. Go for it.
Before you came along, nobody ever tried to kill me or feed me to birds or turn me into a potato.
Right. Clue, please.
Very popular puzzle game.
Okay. Got an idea in my head. Give me another hint.
The item you use throughout the game is a very well-known gaming item.
Is a portal?
Which one?
Oh. One.
Yes.
Hey.
So you're doing well.
How am I doing?
3.5 out of 4.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Last one.
November's my month.
Lambert.
Okay.
What a prick.
Oh, the thing is, if I recognise the name, I would just get it.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
would if you
recognise
get
the
the
name.
name. I don't know. Yeah, you probably would. It's quite a unique name.
Clue.
Open world game, large open, like one of the most popular open world games ever.
One of the most popular open world games ever.
I mean, a lot of them are
Okay.
popular, so that doesn't really narrow it
that's
down.
that's a good point, doesn't it? Yeah. Give me another clue. Lambert. Another clue.
The character, like, who's I'm trying to think of one that's not going to like give it away. It's hard to think of hints, isn't it?
If you prepare them like
oh,
I do,
fuck off.
you don't have to think on the spot.
I'm not a nerd. Right.
What have I prepared?
Okay, okay. This probably isn't gonna help
Come
you in
on.
any way, but the horse's actually it might do. The horse's name
Oh my god.
to this character is Roach.
Roach.
You would get that 100% if you.
The thing is,
Yeah,
if I was familiar with the
100%.
franchise, I'd get
Yeah.
those names. But Lambert and Roach don't really
Yeah.
ring any bells to me personally.
Right.
I'm gonna have to skip.
Four.
Yeah.
Okay, Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Geralt says it to Lambert. And
It would have been. Oh, it would have been.
It would have been so. If you get
Yeah.
like you would have got that from the.
But
quotes.
for names, yeah.
I thought
I'm not
maybe
familiar
you
with
would.
the-
I
with
thought
the
maybe you would have
games.
heard of Roach from like the TV series.
See,
or
the
something.
Roach and Lambert kind of ring. the
Yeah,
bell,
like
but
Lambert's
I
another
wouldn't
Witcher.
be able to guess.
That's not bad. You got
Personally.
3.5 out of 5. So
I'm happy with that.
now's your chance for the bonus round.
God,
So
you
your
sound
quiz
like
show.
like a presenter,
Okay.
TV presenter.
So this one basically is a sort of extra quote which I can give to Jack when he hasn't got full marks. But he can't have any hints and he has to guess the character rather than the game. So you ready?
Extra pressure.
Okay.
Why not? Let's
C.
go.
This is what it is. This is what I just don't get about you bad guys. You know the hero is going to win, but you just won't die.
No, that's
Do you want to do it again? Or
that's not from a character I recognise.
No, I can say it again.
Say it again.
See, this is what I just don't get about you bad guys. You know the hero's going to win, but you just won't die.
Are you trying to impersonate the character?
Yeah, I can't. It's too hard. It's too unique. I can't do it. I just can't do it. It's too unique.
It's too unique.
Yeah, I can't do it. Right, you got 5 seconds. 5, 4.
God, the timings with you are insane. No, I'm gonna have to skip that.
Handsome Jack from Borderlands 2.
Oh, that makes
he has that kind of
sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, he thinks he's the
that
good
has
guy.
That personality.
Yeah, he has that. And trying to do his voice, man. You just can't do his. Like, how could you do his characteristics?
I can see what you mean about the voice.
Yeah,
it's a bit.
It's quite unique.
Quite unique.
It's the way he says it
sure.
is the unique
Yeah,
thing about it. He's like very cocky and just he's just hard to do it. Okay,
yeah, exactly.
Well done. You got 3.5 out of 5, so that's really good.
I'm fine with
I think
that.
that's same as last
I'm
week.
fine with 3.5.
So, or the last time you did it.
No, well, I had 4.5 last time.
Oh, all right, fucking show off.
I haven't had any 5, so I can't really boast yet. So,
well,
but,
thanks.
October and November haven't been too well.
I
for you.
hope mine's going to be good.
Step up your game next
week. So hopefully as well next week, we can actually get our reviews on the PlayStation 5. Hopefully we actually have it in our hands.
I hope so, man.
We can actually get our sort of hands-on impression with that. But until then, thanks for listening to the podcast, everyone. We do have a Patreon page, so if you do want to support us and what we do, that would be greatly appreciated. Check us out on Patreon/GameJunkies to find out more. Also, let us know the answer to the question at the beginning. What is your favourite racing game of all time? Let us know on Twitter at GameJunkiesOG.
Plenty to choose from.
Yeah, until then, see you next week.
See you next week.